Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Sasuke Nerds podcast, where we talk all things Sasuke and Ninja Warrior. My name is Kane, and today I'm joined by my co-host Evan to talk about just whatever's on our minds. Man, Evan, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, other than the fact that my computer is not being kind
Oh
right
my
now.
gosh,
Might be looking for a bit of an update coming up.
yes, dude. For those who are like just joining in, Evan's computer sucks, like horrendously sucks. It takes forever to update or turn on if he like lets it sit for like what longer than a day.
At least, like maybe I could get away with like 2 or 3 days, but like past that, it gets bad. And as we're talking, we finally have some progress on it booting up, and I've
Nice. We'll see
been
what
up for about a
happens.
half hour.
Yeah. All right. Take your bet. What's gonna come first, the end of this episode or the computer turning on?
Well, the computer's turning on because all my little tabs on my homepage just appeared. So
Oh, okay. Okay. So
that
I immediately lost that. Great. Awesome. Updates. What's going on over on our end? TSN, the videos are back up. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, so definitely go give those a watch if you guys didn't get to watch some of the longer projects like Iceberg Part 2 or the Yusuke documentary, because those are some long videos, and we had to private those because of copyright strikes, and we are public again. So definitely go check those out.
I especially want to shout out the Yusuke doc because I was the main brain behind that entire project, and definitely a big like proud moment of mine. Support basically documenting one of my favorite ninja athletes. And Billy's not here right now, but I really want to shout him out for the editing job that he did. By far
Yeah.
his best edit job, and couldn't have been for anything else. It was even better than his edits for Iceberg, which were right up there with it.
You know, the crazy thing is I still haven't watched it because when I finally had time, it dropped like right around Christmas, right around Sasuke 43, so I was like, man, I got to watch this later. And then um and then it got privated and I couldn't see it. So I was just like, okay, well, I got to watch it now.
I
But
I
I'm very
wish you would
excited.
have like told me or Billy that like a while ago, because I would have just sent you like some of like the stuff that Billy said sent in our chat, just for you to have something to watch.
I'm going to be completely real. I was super lazy. We put out a community post about it, and it was like, here's all of our videos just not on YouTube. And it was like a Google Drive folder, and it's literally on my email account where we back up our videos. It's on Parsi where we vault everything. So literally I've had access to it this whole time, had no idea, and just did not
Come on.
watch it. But I like, honestly, another thing for me is like I prefer watching things on YouTube because it if I have to stop watching, it'll bring me back to the spot where I left off. Whereas if I were to watch it on like Google Drive or Vimeo or something, I have to manually find the timestamp I was at. It's just a convenience thing at that point. But speaking of Billy, Billy's got a new channel dropping.
Yes, it's gonna be one take drums.
One take drums. Yes, one take or first take.
It's one of the two.
Okay, now I need to check. Hold on.
Yeah, we're such great friends.
Right? I mean, look, I subscribe to it.
So did I.
I subscribe to it. I think it is one take. One take.
Yeah, each of us three have a bit of a music background. Billy plays drums. Kane used to play the saxophone and bassoon, and I used to play the tuba for 10 years, all throughout high school and university.
Subscribe. I'm still trying to figure this out. Why can't I find it? Why can't I find what Billy sent? What chat did he send
It
this
was
in?
in the TSN chat, the one with
That's what
all
I
the
thought.
older members.
I can't I can't find it. Oh, first take.
Okay,
Yes,
so you
first
were right.
as in like the actual number first, like 1 ST take drums. Billy is going to go absolutely crazy on that channel. He is literally recording a drum cover to a song in one take, and he's uploading that one take. And he is going to do like a bunch at once and put them out every 6 hours. So four drum covers a day. I think it's very good. Billy's got a lot of talent on the drums for sure. So I'm pretty excited to see what he's got cooking up. I will link that in the description of this episode. So if you guys want to give that a look, go ahead and subscribe to that.
Also, in the world of us TSN podcast hosts, I have a comp coming up on February 22nd, the same day as the second match of the meat and bones of this episode is going to be the Team Ninja Association. It's at my home gym of Grips. I'm very excited. It's another double header. I've already qualified for World Ninja League's regionals, and I'm just going to go out there and have some fun. Also, my Michigan Wolverines are now the number one ranked team in college basketball right now, so I am very excited for that.
Oh. So that actually ties into the little segment before we get into the TNA stuff. It's called "What Are You Watching?" and it's exactly what it sounds like. We're gonna briefly go over some things that we've been watching lately. Could be ninja related, could be not ninja related, could be a TV show, could be a movie, could be YouTube, could be literally anything. So, Evan, what have you been watching?
So, this past Saturday was the NBA dunk contest, which
Oh gosh, it was
oh,
terrible.
it was so
It
bad.
was oh, it was
It was
awful.
so bad. I've always been one to say, like, I think the dunk contest is beyond saving. Not because of the lack of star power, but because of the limitations of the human body. Like, there's only so many things you can do. There's only so many ways to do a windmill dunk, a 360 dunk. There's so many things that you can jump over. It's like, it feels like almost everything has been done already. But I do want to shout out Mac McClung. He did post the four dunks he would have pulled.
Yeah, dude,
It was more entertaining the
he would have
entire
won.
contest.
Agreed. Those four dunks were actually insane, and he 100% would have won again. Because, like, I'm sorry, but there were multiple dunks where the athletes were running from like 3 quarters down the court just to dunk from like not even the free throw line. Like, they basically just did a regular dunk.
Jackson Hayes.
Yo, he made me so mad. The whole thing was just frustrating to see, and I didn't even watch it live because I can't watch the NBA live from Barbados. I just watched the clips on TikTok, the compilations that they make at the end, and I was like, dude, I'm so glad I didn't sit hours through this All Star weekend. Although the games themselves seemed pretty good, the All Stars games seemed pretty solid, and Wemby went nuts.
Yep. But guess who was on the winning team? My
Oh my gosh.
Detroit Pistons. For those of you guys who don't know, I'm a huge sports fan, especially at basketball. Specifically Michigan athletics, Michigan Wolverines. I'm a fan of the Detroit Lions and especially the Detroit Pistons. And two of our guys made the All Star team, Kay Cunningham and Jalen Duran, which was awesome. Like I think Kate Cunningham is one of the best players in the NBA. He's been playing like it, and watch out for them in the playoffs, man.
It'll be interesting if they make it to the playoffs. I just looked up the standings, and I mean, obviously they're first in the conference, but that means that theoretically, I mean, if they were to face, let's say, the seventh and eighth seed win the play in, right? I mean, they'd be facing the Heat. That's light work. Like for them, that's going to be light work. I'm a Lakers guy. For those who are not who are new to that, I guess. But I'm a big Lakers guy. I'm ready to accept all of the hate I just got from saying that. I just made Celtics fans, Warriors fans, Clippers fans. Who else? Kings fans. Um,
The Kings have fans.
nice. But no, I grew up with the Kobe Powell Lakers, and my dad he grew up in LA. He's from LA, so he was from the Showtime era with Magic and Kareem, and so we're a Lakers family. They're the fifth seed right now in the West, which is pretty solid. if the playoffs were to happen like right now, they'd face the Rockets, and I think they have the Rockets. I really do.
Especially since recently, considering what happened with Kevin Durant,
Yep.
the chemistry on that team is not going to be good.
No. The doors are wide open for a second round advancement for us. To which we would probably face either the Spurs or the Nuggets, which wouldn't be great. I would prefer the Spurs because the Nuggets are just super clearly this Lakers kryptonite, like through
Yeah,
and through.
Nikola Jokic will just do whatever he does. Like and that was with Anthony
He'll
Davis guard,
yawn and throw something from full court
and that was with Anthony
and
Davis
make it.
there. Now they have what, DeAndre Ayton and Jackson Hayes.
Yeah, our defense is a big reason why we're not higher up for sure because we're not the most defensive team right now. But yeah, so NBA for both of us, I think there's some overlap. In terms of ninja content, I mean, I'm only really watching one show. They're all on YouTube right now actually. It's the Sasuke Junior Cup comes out every Friday and I think they're about to drop the quarterfinals, the top 8. And there's dude, it's some wild stuff. I know you're not fully tapped into that, are
Not
you?
really. I know you've been sending me a few stuff. I know some of the kids of the modern ninja athletes over in Japan, the Sasuke athletes, have been doing very well. I think, what was it? Hioki's son that's doing really well, Masashi Hioki.
Yeah, so Hioki's son last year got third place. Now he's a year older. He's because they take fifth graders and sixth graders. And so, now he's a sixth grader. He's on the older side of the age group. He also hit a massive growth spurt. So that was huge. That was a big shock. But really, I mean, it's between him and this other kid, and they're about point 0.8 seconds apart, 0.08 seconds apart from each other. Sorry, let me rephrase that. But the top 8 right now has a lot of like notable faces that'll be sticking around. Nagano's second oldest son is also in the top 8 with Hioki's son. And then there's a kid sponsored by Altior, which is Tomohiro Kawaguchi's brand for climbing and all that and whatnot. He's in the top 8, which is crazy because last year he did not do well. So big shout out to him. And then I think she's the only girl left. It's one of the Black Tigers. And the crazy thing about her is she's like third or fourth fastest right now. And she's still on the younger side. So she'll probably come back next year as a sixth grader, and she could be a real threat to win next year as well, which is really interesting. I'm pretty excited about that one just because like they're gonna race on a course one more time, one more episode, but then after that they're gonna race up a tower, and it's gonna change because you could be really fast on this speed course, but if you can't go quickly up this tower, I mean suddenly your chances of winning just got cut back down. So this is going to be the turning point of the season. I'm actually pretty excited about that. It comes out just a few hours before this episode comes out, actually. So pretty excited to watch it.
I gotta be more tuned in on that one because it sounds really exciting, especially compared to last year where it was his first year, and like I don't know these athletes, so like a little harder to
Right,
watch
right.
that, especially for a first season. But after that, like it's a lot more. I don't know, man. Like I might tune in. Actually, I probably should tune in.
It's very fair. I think that something that I typically find with reality TV in general is that the first season is like good. They're serviceable products of TV, but you can tell like the budget's lower. The competitors are trying to figure things out as they go, whether it's like a social game like Survivor or it's like a physical game like American Ninja Warrior. Like they're just trying to get their footing. But then the second season comes around, production knows what they're doing. They have maybe a bigger budget if they were more successful in ratings. The competitors now understand what the show's about, so they come and they bring more intensity to it. And I think that's what we're seeing a lot here in the Junior Cup because this is the second one. Now, my concern was honestly like what I felt with American Ninja Warrior Junior because I watched it. It was like a long time ago, but essentially season 2 I think was the best one of the 3 seasons, and I think a big part of it was because they obviously upped the production value, but also the kids were returning, and I found myself actually rooting for people that were coming back. And I thought that was really interesting. Season 3 kicked in, and a lot of the regulars from seasons 1 and 2 actually aged out of the show because they were too old. And now, I was like, well, I like season 3, but like if you're not tapped into leagues like that, you're not going to know who half the kids are. Maybe you have to now reset to get like reinvested in some of these people, right? I don't feel that way with the Sasuke Junior Cup because Nagano's got 2 kids, and at least one of them's coming back next year that are in that age group. Which, by the way, his youngest son missed the top 16 by 0.2 seconds. It was so sad. So he's coming back 100%. The Black Tiger girl is going to destroy stuff next year. Like, I'm genuinely excited to watch them make their returns. And so I think that's another big bonus for me is I'm enjoying parts. There's some flaws for sure. I'm enjoying parts of the second Junior Cup, but I think the big thing is I'm actually not opposed to watching the third one next year as well when it does come out. So shout out to them. The other ninja stuff I've been watching, their leagues, TNA, which we'll talk about later, and NSC. But I don't really watch I don't watch NSC that heavily. Like NSC goes on for like 16 hours sometimes on their first days because now they added a speed round. So I pretty much just watch the second days, the finals, because each division goes for about 3 hours, and I'll just watch it in passing. I think it's just the most manageable way for me to watch that for sure.
Yeah, I don't really watch a lot of NSC myself. Like, if one of my friends is competing on a qualifier, I'll tune in to watch them. But other than that, like it like Kane said, it can be a time commitment.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like if you're not there for the whole, like in person for the event, I mean, NSC still hits. It's still a solid looking product, and the courses they're always very fun to watch. But yeah, I'm not waking up to see an NSC stream just to go to sleep, and the NSC stream might be ending at the time I go to sleep. Like I'm like I'll just wait. I'll just get to the part where it's shorter and more condensed for sure.
Shout out Ryan
Um,
Stratus for being a such a trooper.
yeah, I don't know how any of them do that for that long because like I did that for Worlds, and that's once a year for a week straight, and I was like I'm good. I don't want to do that again. That's a lot, and they have to do it 8 times a year, 9 times a year, counting finals,
Finals.
and so that's big ups to them. In terms of non ninja things that I've been watching, I can only really shout out 2 currently. I just finished a few weeks ago both Percy Jackson and the Olympians, which is one of my favorite book series of all time. So when the show came out, I was very excited about it. Season 2 just wrapped up. They announced that season 3 is coming out later this year, probably November, December. So I'm definitely looking forward to that because they haven't. Do you know like what the Percy Jackson lore or what it's even about?
Not really. I've never really dove into Percy Jackson at all, so I'm ready to learn
Okay.
anything.
Yeah, so Percy Jackson, the whole premise is Percy and his friends, they're the children of Greek gods, they're demigods, and they have to go on quests to save the world, but they're fighting monsters and meeting figures from Greek mythology along the way. It's a lot of fun. Um, because it was so popular, people would compare the books to the Harry Potter series because it was that big. And I think it's a worthy comparison. I like Harry Potter as well. I like Percy Jackson a bit more, but I think that's just because I find Percy to be a better main character. So they made movies about them. There are 5 books, and they made the first movie about the first book, and they made some differences from the books. It happens, but the first movie was overall pretty good. Then the second movie comes out like 3 years later, and it was just a disaster. They changed a whole bunch from the books to where it wasn't even the same movie. The special effects were not very good. The script was not very good. They took the ending of book 5. They basically took the whole overarching plot of the series and put the ending and turned it into a CGI monster battle at the end of the second movie. So even if they did the third movie, like I don't even know what it would be about because we're not even going in the same direction anymore, And then it made zero money, so the third movie never got made. And so it was a disaster. And that's all that we've had. That was in 2013, that movie. So for 10 years, we had nothing. 2023, they announced the show was coming out and each season would be a book. We've now done two seasons. So the first two books, season three is already filmed. And I'm very excited because now we're in the territory that we've never seen on screen before. So I'm pretty stoked about that one. Um, I think I'm more excited about that than I was about hearing the show was coming out, period. Because now it's new stuff. And then the last show that I would say that I watched recently is Wonder Man, which is Marvel's latest show. It's very much not your traditional superhero show. It's honestly like a sitcom. It's very much just a sitcom, and the main character happens to have superpowers, and it occasionally gets used. But besides that, it's just a good story between two best friends, and I think that's a solid watch. And each episode's only like 30 minutes. Like it's the first superhero thing I would recommend to non superhero fans because it is so unlike all the stereotypes of superhero movies and shows. So that's definitely me. That's what I've been watching. What about you?
I actually don't watch a lot of like TV shows. Like the main things I don't watch like a ton of TV. I watch a lot more YouTube. But speaking of YouTube, I've been waiting for a time to give this person a huge shout out. So, for those of you who don't know me, I am a huge fan of Nintendo games. I want to give a shout out to Akamos, who is the commissioner of the Akalan Slugging Association, which is a CPU versus CPU league of Mario Super Sluggers. They are 4 seasons in. They have like their own. They have like 8 GMs, so 8 teams, and they draft all the characters to try and build a team, to win the championship, like you see in any sporting event. And they have like nicknames for all of these characters, and then they have a bunch of like Mii's in there to like fill out the roster. And it's a great time. The videos, like the recap videos, can be a little long, but like it's a really fun time. Like the story building is like really interesting. Very fun to me.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't realize Mario Sluggers had like even that big of a following still.
Oh it does. It 100%.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, maybe you should send me that link. I actually might give that a little look. I don't think I'm going to watch it like super intensely, but I definitely would humor it for sure. Um in terms of YouTube, I think I watch a lot of Sidemen, but like I mainly watch their Among Us stuff. Are you tapped into that at all?
Not really.
Sidemen Among Us is genuinely like keeping Among Us alive and relevant because imagine Among Us, but there is 12 people playing at a time and only one of them is actually intelligent. And because he's actually intelligent, they just vote him out or kill him first. So that way they don't get sussed out by people. And then it's just 11 idiots shouting at each other the whole time. It is one of the most entertaining things, but there are some times where I'm like, I'm losing brain cells watching this. So big shout out to them because it is like one of those where I get to turn my brain off and I don't get to do that a whole lot. So um
I mean,
guys go
you could just turn your brain off just playing Among Us with some of us.
That's very true. We should do more Among Us, honestly. I do an annual Among Us stream with people from the Ninja community. And if you guys want to pull up, you can always join my Discord server. I'll link that in it. I'm going to put a lot of links in this description this
Shameless
episode. Like
plug over here.
no, but for real, I do want to do another one. We play with proximity chat so we can all talk to each other and joke and just I don't know. There's so many random things that went on. I think one time I started singing "Pumped Up Kicks" right before I killed someone as
Yep.
imposter. So
Then you
like,
imitate Billy.
yep. The clip farming is great with proximity chat. It's really fun. Yeah, so that's what we're watching. Go ahead and comment below what you guys are watching or give us some recommendations for sports or YouTube channels or TV shows or movies that we should watch. I didn't get to say this, but I'm a big movie guy. I did a stream on my channel where I ranked all 74 movies I watched in 2025. This year, I'm projected to hit like 120. I have a big old list. And so if you have movie recommendations, feel free to throw them in the comments as well. Happy to add them to the list and let you guys know my thoughts later on. I watch movies every Monday and Tuesday by myself. We're recording this on a Tuesday. Last night I watched Ocean's 12, which was a heist movie, sequel to Ocean's 11. Great set of movies, the first two. I'm watching Ocean's 13 tonight so I can finish the whole trilogy, and I'm pretty excited about it. But that's what we're watching.
Have you watched Goat at all? Because that's one of the movies I'm like actually interested in watching.
I have not. Oh gosh, I'm going to sneeze. Hold on. Oh no. Hold it. Okay. No, I haven't watched Goat. It is out in theaters. I need to actually drive to a movie theater, but I need to learn how to drive out here just because the steering wheel in Barbados is on the right side of the car and you drive on the left side of the road. So I just have to switch it in my brain and be okay with that. And then I'm good.
Fair enough.
Oh gosh, the sneeze wants to come back. Okay,
I also saw
Evan.
I also saw a trailer for a Michael Jackson movie, and I like instantly got hooked.
Yeah, they actually. I just woke up today and they dropped a trailer for the Mandalorian and Grogu. Used to be a huge Star Wars guy. Still am a fan of Star Wars, just not as much as I used to be. But the trailer itself looks really good. I'm pretty excited for that one. While potentially sneeze, Evan, why don't you segue us into our next segment?
All right, so we are now going to review the first match of Team Ninja Association, which happened as of the time of recording this this past Sunday. Um, First things first, like I want to be like give a huge shout out to especially Savannah Salinas of the Maniacs because on her first attempt on the strength course, it looked that when she fell, it looked like she injured her leg, but she still pushed and like really gave it her all. So like, huge respect to her. And speaking of the Maniacs, I was surprised they went out round one because like it looked like out of the new teams, they were by far the scariest. And like
Yeah,
all these teams are good, but like the Maniacs have a ton of talent. Beginning and ending with Nathaniel Hanvu, who's been on an absolute tear, and then Adeline Messier, who's also really good. And yeah, like everyone did great. Like I'm looking forward to the next one, which has a team that you and I are going to be rooting for.
yeah. So before we get to any of that, I think we need to preface what exactly this league is for our fans who are maybe not tapped in. Hopefully people are joining in for the first time because we've got TNA going on and they'll be excited to hear our thoughts. But the Team Ninja Association is run by Zach Eichenstein and Josiah Papel. It is consisting of a three-part obstacle course that teams run relay style. There's the speed course, the skill course, which is more technical, and the strength course for the women, which is more endurance based. You get points based off of how well you do on each individual leg, and the lowest combined total, because they do it like first place is 1 point, second place is two. The lowest combined totals move on to the next round, and then to the next round. They go 8 teams every qualifier, down to four, down to two, and then the final two teams battle it out for the win. Um, and it was very entertaining for us to watch it last season. Like last year, Evan and I were having a blast. We hosted watch parties. I'm still hosting watch parties. We're there. We're dialed in every Sunday, and we're watching it and we're reacting because it feels genuinely like a sporting event. It's I'm watching ninja comps and I feel like, oh, I'm just watching people take turns on a course. Sometimes it really does feel like that. But TNA, it with the strategy involved and who to put on what leg and what the obstacles are, and then actually watching them run and seeing how the leaderboard changes, it feels like I'm watching a basketball game or a football game. Like there's twists and turns and things that you wouldn't expect happening almost every single competition. So big shout out to them. On the subject of the Maniacs, which is one of the newer teams, the younger teams, I was also very surprised that they did not make it to the first, past the first round. That was absurd, especially because they had such a deep bench as well. I think what it was Adelina and Will Vaz that didn't get to run.
Yes.
Like that's absurd, and I would have loved to have seen them get a shot. Thankfully, they're obviously going to get more opportunities this season, but still, it's absolutely crazy.
All right, Kane, I want to ask you something. What did you think of the if every single leg there was a full clear, they get an additional point removed? I am a huge fan of that because one thing I absolutely did not like last year was the fact that you could skip obstacles on the skill course because like here it incentivizes you to attempt everything and try to clear everything. I also feel like maybe 1 point might not be enough, maybe like two or three to like really put that emphasis on like, hey, go for all these obstacles.
I think it makes a difference. It definitely would make a huge difference. Obviously, we haven't seen a full clear yet because there weren't any full clears in this first match, but I I struggle to find it makes a difference in the later rounds, honestly. Like, I think in the first round that would be huge because let's say, I mean, like, look, you've got Nathaniel Hanvu on the Maniacs, right? He got second in the skill challenge in the skill portion of the course. He didn't get to move on. So he kind of played almost as a spoiler for other teams in a way, right? And let's say you got fifth, but you full cleared everything and you were just slower, right? If your whole team full clears, suddenly that fifth place becomes the equivalent of a fourth place, and that could make a difference. That was a huge difference maker, 1 point in that first round. I find it to be very interesting. I think it's a good rule to implement. I just think the sneeze won't go away, man. I just think that the second and third rounds probably don't need it as much. Here it comes.
Oh, oh, oh,
Jeez.
we
And that was
finally
not
got it.
exaggerated. That was not exaggerated. That's how bad that was. That had been
Oh
bothering
my.
me for about 8 minutes. Jeez. Okay. But no, I like the rule. I like the rule. I just need to. Oh my gosh, it's coming. Evan, take it away.
Something else I want to point out, especially with the course, Lucas Reale was the one who designed the course. The guy loves UFOs, man. Like, what was it? Three obstacles total used UFOs. Now, they all use them differently. I really like the one on the skill course where it was attached to the truss, but the truss was swinging. I think adds an entirely new dynamic. But like, it's still a lot for one obstacle like category, one obstacle archetype, and yeah, they used Lachey's with them. You saw earlier on the skill course the poles, especially later with guys like the Weston Boswells of the world just going through them like crazy. And speaking of the UFOs, I there was a obstacle malfunction when Grace Gordon was on the strength course. It was the first obstacle of the strength course. I believe this was her third attempt at it because you are allowed retries on the strength course. However, it's split into two different segments. There's a checkpoint platform in the middle. So, like, if you fail the second obstacle of your block, you have to start from the first obstacle on the block, which gets pretty pumpy pretty quickly, especially for the strength portion. The UFO came undone, so thankfully they were like, "Yeah, just move on to the next obstacle," because, like, obviously there's no control over an obstacle malfunction.
Yeah, that's stick. Yeah, that was a wild turn of events there. I am glad that I do think they made the right calls when it came to when the course didn't work in their favor. That being one of the prime examples. Glad Grace is okay because that easily could have come down and like hit her head. Like
Yeah,
that would have been pretty bad. So I'm just thankful that barring minus Savannah's potential leg injury, I'm just glad that no one got like seriously hurt. In terms of the course, I actually think that the course was too hard. Um,
I agree.
I don't. I and it's funny because there's some good courses. They're very well made, but this is a qualifier. It's not the finals. And I mean, the Monstro Aces won the qualifier, right? They won the match. But they're number one, a veteran team, so they know what to expect with TNA. And number two, they are all of that caliber to where they could advance to the finals. And I think if this was like the course for finals and you had finals caliber teams, you absolutely could, you know, see more success on this course. But ultimately, like, there were a lot of newer teams, a lot of inexperienced teams who either strategized wrong on how many attempts to take, especially on skill, or they were just not gonna hit those obstacles as aggressively as it needed to be hit their first time around. And that's the thing. Like the first round, you know, you want to feel out the obstacles as you're on them. So that way, if you're in the second round and everything, you can be more assertive and get faster because they cut the time limit down every round. But if you're too cautious, or if you're taking too many attempts, or if you're not efficient enough in that first round, there is no second round for you. And I think the course, I mean, that comes down to the athletes, but I also think it comes down to the course itself. I think, you know, there is a level of difficulty the course needs to have to where it's possible in that first round for it to not just be a race to one specific obstacle. And in this first round, it was kind of just a race to the sidewinders on the strength course. And, you know, that was fine, but it was underwhelming because, like, shoot, barely anything happened, it felt like, until the last couple of teams really went. So yeah, definitely I think would have been a great course if we had a team like, if it was like the Forgers, the Aces, the Aliens, the Barn Burners, you know, like a bigger, more seasoned roster. um I know that that's really out of Lucas Reality's control. I like the course overall. I just think, you know, the qualifiers might need to be scaled back just a tiny bit for us to even see things like a full clear happen. You know, well, who knows?
Yeah, and speaking of the aces, so something that is different from season one is that the women are on the last leg, the strength course, and that really helps them specifically because Abby Clark is known for her grip strength. So that really puts her like gives them a bit of an advantage in that sense. There's no true advantage in Ninja, let's be honest, but like that's as much of an advantage as you can get. And plus, Joe Capo has always been a really speedy guy. And then Charlie Ball, which if you know Charlie Ball, he needs absolutely no introduction. Like he absolutely destroyed that course.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to jump too far ahead, honestly. I don't want to jump over to the aces too much yet. I do have a lot of thoughts about that. Um we've talked a lot about the first round, our thoughts on the course, our thoughts on some of the newer teams. Um, so after the second round, I mean, the elites and the Radlers were in the final two, and I would have not guessed that. Honestly, I was super shocked when that happened. We were all talking about how surprising that was. Um, and then the ads went on for a while, and they looped a lot. And we were like, okay, like ads loop, it happens when breaks take a while. Like every league that I watch has ads that loop. That's fine. But then they come back and they say, well, we fixed the slider and we let all the speed athletes from round two rerun, and it changed up the leaderboard. So the Radlers are still in, but now the Aces are in. And I was just like, we couldn't have seen that? Like, that's a big change. And I would have liked to have had that on stream, and I'm not sure why it wasn't on stream.
Yeah, I'm in full agreement right there. Now, I would not go as far to say anyone thinks they were rigging it for the aces, but like if someone were to say like, "Oh, that feels rigged," I don't know. They might have some ammo right there, considering that those runs weren't shown. Now, if someone was at the taping, like in person at the arena, the Ninja Arena, obviously, if like they did do run, I believe that they did those runs, and I'm sure anyone who was there can confirm that. But still, it's like that seems like a huge oversight and was probably my biggest problem with the event as a whole.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I believe that they did I don't think anyone is doubting that they did the runs. They for sure did the reruns, and it's fair to do the reruns when the obstacle itself is not working as intended. So they made the right call on allowing those reruns on speed. There's no doubt about that. But I mean, as we're talking about it, the Aces obviously advanced as a result, and then they won. This changed up the entire podium. And we'll talk about the final round a bit more because I do have some thoughts on that. But at the moment, I'm just like, the whole podium changed because of these reruns that we couldn't see. And I think something that makes TNA different from other ninja leagues is the way they present themselves as a product. You know, um, very much WNL, UNAA, FINA, NSC, they present themselves as a competition. It's for the athletes. And yes, things like NSC or Premier Series finals or whatever, they have good camera angles and they're made so that way they look nice on streams and whatnot. But first and foremost, it's for the athletes. TNA feels like it's for the athletes, but it also feels like it's trying to create the ultimate viewing experience online and in person. That's why the arena is a thing. That's why there's so many cameras. That's why there's a whole commentator booth now, which looks sick, by the way. Um, but if you're really trying to push the viewing experience, let the viewer see. Don't by not pulling back the curtain on those reruns. That's actually harming the image of the product, not helping. It doesn't make you look more like, all right, well, we fixed this issue while we were away. It's just like, no, you did a whole round of competition while we were away. There's a difference. It's not like you just fixed the ring and called it a day and let the leaderboard stand. You went and did four different runs, and I think as a product, it would be good to have that transparency. Again, like you said, no one's going to accuse them of rigging it. No one thinks it was rigged. It's the right thing to do to give them the reruns, but definitely my biggest gripe with that whole thing was the fact that um you know we didn't see that at all.
Exactly. And like obviously if there's like a specific reason why they weren't, uh feel free to let us know because both
Yeah.
of us want to be educated on these sort of stuff to make us, you know, have that more of a edge, so to speak. And it's like if there's something that we get wrong within this podcast, like please let us know. That way we can fix it for the next time we talk about anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly that. Like, we're not here to like say that we know it all and to bash people or put anyone down, but we are going to be honest about how we perceive things. And if there's any insight that anyone else has to offer, we're always going to listen. As long as the conversation remains respectful and cordial and informative, that's all we can ask for, and we will be very appreciative of any of that. With that said, another thing that I'm going to be honest about, the chants did not work. Oh my gosh, the chanting in the arena. Sorry, I think it was Zach. I'm
I think
sorry,
it was
Zach.
that
It
too.
didn't hit. It didn't
Yeah.
hit. I think he tried to start a chant for the competitors on the course like at least 6 times, and I think I only heard the crowd chanting like twice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm sure he'll try again, and I don't blame him for trying it again if he does. But like, oh boy, you know.
Yeah. Zach, if that was you, I'm sorry, but that was not it. Honestly, I
Yeah.
think it at sometimes it was very distracting for when I was viewing it because I was trying to tune into what Taylor Johnson and Karsten Williams were saying on the mic, and then while they're talking, I hear the chanting. I think if it was the crowd by itself, I think that would be insanely cool. But like when you're starting something and like it's not a response, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, for all we know, there was a response, and obviously, chants happen in sporting events. Period. Like basketball, soccer, especially. Like there, the crowd goes crazy. Baseball games, same thing. They all have songs or chants or cheers that they go through and that they say. So it makes sense that you'd want the Ninja Arena to have stuff going on for the crowd to get into it. And I completely understand that angle. My two complaints with it is number one, the crowd's just not as into that as they are with other sports. Like they want to watch, but they want to watch, and they don't want to like. It doesn't seem like they wanted to like get hyped like that. Maybe now that they know that it's gonna happen regularly, or maybe they're trying to make it a thing. Maybe more people will get into it. You know, we could be wrong. It could change and evolve over the next couple of weeks. But I think the big thing for me was the audio levels. Um, because the crowd is like on either side of the commentary booth, it really is like difficult to yeah, it's really difficult to hear what the commentators are saying. They got drowned out a lot, and it was really hard to focus on any one thing because all of a sudden I went from hearing Taylor and Karsten speaking to them, but Zach shouting and the crowd shouting and maybe some clapping as well, and that's tough. That's tough. If the arena was bigger, or if there was like soundproof glass around the commentators, like a booth, right, or something, I feel like even that would make such a huge difference in the audio levels. But we don't have that, and that's fine. But that does mean that maybe we need to be more mindful of when things are happening.
When you're talking the crowd, like I wish there was like camera angles like before like, the runs were going like to show off the crowd and like how many people were in that arena. I feel like that would give like cuz when you watch a sporting event like I don't know, you're watching a football game, like say you're watching the Super Bowl, they pan to the crowd and they see a ton of people cheering or like waving their hands around or doing the wave, something like that. Like I would love to see that. And speaking of things I kind of miss from season one, I miss Mary Layton. I miss Mary
Yeah,
Layton. She
yeah,
did a fantastic job last season being on the course and talking about like some of the standout obstacles. And they tried to introduce the interviewing with Tej and Karsten in the booth, which I don't think is a bad idea at all. But like I think you kind of lose that face to face interaction because it's in between runs, or like I believe it was Nathaniel Hanvu's interview was during a run, and
yes. And I think part of Avery Glance's was as well.
that sounds about right. Maybe like
Yeah.
towards the end of her interview, the next person was running. And another thing I definitely missed from season one were the walkouts of the finals team, like outside of the isolation room it was.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed those from season one, and I'm bummed not to see them.
Yeah, that's very fair. I mean, I will say I'm going to disagree with you on the parts about seeing the crowd. Um I think, that obviously adds to the elements of the sports atmosphere and broadcast, but there's only so many cameras they have. They it's not, I don't think they have enough cameras at the moment,
That's
and
fair.
if they have to prioritize things, obviously prioritize the athletes, the course, the commentators. So, maybe someday they'll get that to that point, but I'm definitely not in a rush for that specific feature. You brought up some great things just now because I wasn't even fully thinking about it, but I do miss Mary as well. Um, I think the timing of when they do their interviews was good. Like they interviewed Avery, I think it was like halfway through round one to give a little bit of a break, a little bit of a pause for the viewers to be like, all right, now we're kicking it into the second half of the races, the runs. And I thought that was like well placed, but then there was some overlap or it just felt like very disconnected. The I think I felt the absence of Mary the most with the post run interview for the Aces after they won. You know, having it basically be Taylor shouting from, you know, her booth or from wherever she ended up going across the arena to the team. Granted, you could hear each other, the audio itself was fine, but it did feel a little less personal, you know? Even like less personal than when Matt and Akbar are in their tower and they're interviewing someone at the top of the wall. Because at least elevation wise, the athletes can see Matt and Akbar at the top of the wall, you know? And I didn't really get that. And having to switch the cameras for the questions or anything else, I think it really would have benefited from just having one of the commentators down there. It would have been great to have Mary still there. I don't know if it was just a scheduling conflict thing. Hopefully Mary can come back in the future. Um but I definitely feel that. And the walkouts, yes, the walkouts are big. Um I really enjoyed those as well. And not getting that was kind of that is a bit of a bummer now that I think about it. I wasn't even thinking about it and then you mentioned it and I'm like, "Dang, he's right. That's a good one."
But yeah, do we want to move on to the finals?
Yeah, you know what? Let's talk about it. So, good matchup, the Rattlers and the Aces. And I think I heavily slept on the Rattlers the
I did
whole
too.
event. The whole event. I know Weston, okay? I was familiar with Weston and his capabilities. So I wasn't surprised like if Weston was able to get far. I wasn't too familiar with his team. They crushed it. They absolutely like it was not one person carrying the team. It was not anything else like that. And you know, the nice thing about having, you know, three legs of the course in the final round is that it's basically a best 2 out of 3 matchup. And that means that if one team wins speed and another wins skill, it really does come down to that strength course. And in my head, I was like, well, it's going to come down to speed. Because if Joe Capo's faster, then like Charlie's going to win skill, and then the aces are going to win. And then Weston beat Charlie on the skill by getting the
Yes.
Kane obstacle at the end. I was like, dude, now we've got a match. Like, this was really interesting because literally the whole watch party, we were like, yeah, so the aces are just going to sweep now. Like, it is what it is. And then, oh my gosh, yeah, no, Weston clutched big time for there. So shout out Weston, that was
The
sick.
person I really want to shout out is Molly McGovern. I owe you an apology. I was
Mm-hmm.
not familiar with your game. Molly McGovern absolutely killed it the entire event. It was round two. She was
Yep.
by far the closest to clearing that strength course. So, like, big props to her. Like, and I'm not too familiar with Jackson Polisek's talents as well. And he definitely caught my eye as well. So, like, great job, Radlers. Great job.
Oh yeah, no, they did great. I'm actually very excited to see them compete again. I think what they're all doing 3 matches this time around,
Yes.
so we'll see them 2 more times this season. I'm pretty excited about that. I think you know if this is their season opener, they do have a very good shot at potentially making the finals. But there's 24 teams and 8 spots in the finals, so we'll see what happens. Currently, as it stands, they're second on the regular season leaderboard. So we'll see how that holds up. But I'm pretty stoked.
And keep in mind who was not at that event. Levi Meeks.
Yeah. Dude, that's such a huge asset to their team. So taking a look into the second match, because match 2 is going to be 2 days after this episode comes out on Sunday, the 22nd February, which, by the way, February 22nd is my wife's birthday. Happy birthday, Sasha. Love you.
Happy birthday, Sasha.
Um, some very strong teams coming out as well. Some wild cards as well. I think the Seekers are up there. They got TK, they got Jaleesa and Emily, and they got Kevin Carbone, Colton Scooster. Not a bad team at all. Challengers, Daniel Gill's team with I think it's Grant
KK
KK.
Andrews is on that one. Grant
Yeah.
Kinningham.
The Legends are coming back. We saw them this past week. I think they have a lot of potential. They're a young team, so I think they're just going to get better with time. We are going to see the Warriors, which is Yachty and the Green
The Green
Twins and
Twins.
Liv
Olivia
Keys.
Keys is also on that team.
Yep. The Aliens is the team that you were referring to way back when, saying that we were going to root for them. Definitely rooting for them.
Yep.
They got Caden Lebsack, Michael Matthews, who's absolutely nuts, Joe Meisner, friend of the podcast, Joe Moravsky, might see him on the podcast, and then Madeleine, who was on the podcast last episode. So great team. I very much want to see them go far.
I do too, and I think they have a really good shot to not only go far, but I think they have a chance to win.
I think there's a good shot. They're against the Barn Built Blitz, though, which is like Matt Bradley's. There's a lot of dexterity athletes with JJ Black, Elias Poe. Their female athletes are Allison Bond and Helena Smith. And I think their anchor, if it's not one of the dexterity guys, is Dax Musovic, who's pretty stinking strong. Technicians coming up. Technicians are going to be a good one. Tom Alberti is their captain. Cody Benaway, Malone Cantor, Grace Carr, and Jake Shanti. That's a lot of power. I think it depends. Who's designing the courses? It's Ben Scraley,
Ben
right?
Scraley, yes.
So we have to think like who's got good grip, who's got that. Tom Alberti's endurance is nuts. And I say that because I have a feeling on the skill course, there's going to be a lot of cliffs.
Yep.
I have a strong feeling that we're going to get that. And I think that'll be the ace in the hole for them. Um, And then the last team that's there is the reigning champs, the Ascend Kings. Matt D'Amico, Lily Barrett, and Evan Lavallee are back, but now they have Kaylee Hanlon and Aaron Majakamo to beef up their roster, which is just kind of overkill at this point, in my opinion. So
Yep.
pretty stoked about that one. Very
It
excited. Are you going to
build
be?
they
Are you
reloaded.
going to watch party this time around?
I'm if my if I have anything to say about it, I will be at that watch party. Um Obviously I have a combat day myself,
Oh, that's right.
and then
Yeah.
I get to pop in. Um Kane, do you want to predict who we think is going to win that matchup?
Oh man. See, if I had to guess, if I had to just put money on it, I am gonna go with the Kings. Yeah, I want to say the Aliens, but ultimately Lily Barrett is borderline unstoppable on endurance courses. Like there's a good chance that we'll get a full clear out of them. If I'm assuming Evan or Aaron can clutch up on the skill, because Matt D'Amico's probably going to run speed. He'll probably do very well. I think we have a good shot at a full clear there. If not them, it's going to be the Aliens. I'm pretty stoked about that. Um, I'm not as familiar with Madeleine's endurance. She said that she wasn't like a huge endurance athlete, but she trains it. So hopefully, it goes well for them there. She is the only woman on the team, whereas the Kings have Kaylee Hanlon in case Lily needs a break or something. So Madeleine will get more pumped as the comp goes on. Hopefully her recovery is good. Um, yeah, I mean, I think the Kings are kind of set up for it right now. But the other thing is, we haven't really seen a five-player team in action, like fully. Like we've seen teams with five players take on the course, but they didn't really get to round two. We haven't seen a substitution yet. We haven't seen how switching people out can affect the performance in later rounds. So that's pretty huge.
I think they said this about the elites. They said that there might have been a scheduling conflict, so maybe not every single member of that team will be there at once.
Right. And that's kind of tricky as well. So ultimately, yeah, I think the Kings are going to walk away with the win on this one. We'll see if anyone can stop them from a repeat win, but I think it's going to be an uphill battle for a lot of people.
I think that's a really good pick. I'm probably going to go with the aliens. Yes, I'm going to be biased, but that team is really good, and some of their maybe not bigger names are incredibly underrated. So I definitely want the aliens to do super well. I'm going to be cheering for them hard. A team that I think also could do really well will be the technicians.
Yes, sleeper pick for sure.
Yeah, because obviously Tom Alberti, no introduction needed. Grace Carr is still doing her thing. Malone Cantor is a name I'm not too familiar with, but I've heard she is also insanely cracked. Um,
Yes.
and Cody Benaway is Cody Benaway, man. Like,
Yeah.
I'm curious about Jake. I'm not too familiar with his skill set either, but I'm all for it, man. I'm all
Jake
for
is very fast. I think Jake would be a killer on speed. Um, I'm not sure who's going to run skill between Cody and Tom. I would assume Tom, as the captain, might do the skill, but I mean, Cody could go either way to speed or
it.
skill,
Yeah,
and you'd be fine. And you could like speed could be Jake or Cody, skill could be Tom or Cody, and I think you'd have a good combination on that team regardless.
I agree.
Well, with that, that's our TNA discussion. Very excited about the upcoming season. Um, Thank you as well, TNA, for making your competitions like 2 hours. Oh my gosh. I love that it's straight to the point and you get right to it and then you finish and you move on. That's so much more enjoyable. My personal thought is like a ninja show or episode or whatever else shouldn't be longer than 2 hours ever. And I say that because so many tournaments of Sasuke and every episode of Ninja Warrior Germany is 3 hours with ads. Like that's absurd. Poland is 2 hours, but that's with ads. Like I think, yeah, no, keep it shorter, keep short and sweet, straight to the point. This was like 2 hour. This was like 2.5 hours with ads and with reruns and with an obstacle malfunction and with you know, once they get in their stride and TNA gets in their rhythm, we're going to be closer to that hard 2 hour limit. And I think it'll be a lot more digestible for people. So if you are not looking to commit to like a multi-hour, like NSC competition watch or a 5 hour Sasuke tournament to watch, give this one a shot. For sure, give TNA a shot. It is a lot of fun. And it's also better with people. So feel free to join a watch party on my Discord server, which again will be linked in this one, because we just had a great time talking about obstacles, discovering new athletes that some of the viewers maybe weren't familiar with. And there were some cool obstacles set up as well. Again, shout out to Lucas Reale. Very excited to see what Ben Scraley has in store for week 2.
And then week 3 is going to be Matt Bradley.
Yeah. And sometime in March is going to be Kevin Brecky. So I'm pretty stoked for that one because Kevin goes absolutely nuts with some of his ideas. And the nice thing is, like, we didn't touch on this, but all of the obstacles are made by Obstacle Factory, which is Zach's brand of obstacle design. And right now, they're very much in the business of doing custom designs. So anything that these designers are thinking of or dreaming up, I would assume most of it is just getting made directly from them and put on this course. So that's awesome. There's probably, behind the scenes, not everything goes 100% right. So there's probably some obstacles that didn't get made, or didn't make the final version of Lucas's course. But that's just an assumption. And either way, like, we had some really cool stuff. And I'm very excited to see how that's going to continue to evolve with basically unlimited imagination and a good amount of resources from Obstacle Factory.
Absolutely. Well said, Kane. Excited to see what TNA keeps coming up. I know I'll be tuning in. And tune in next episode where we're going to have Makoto Nagano on the podcast. So you guys definitely don't want to miss that.
Yep. It's gonna be so good. I've been looking forward to that episode for so long. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching.